if you take the Nigerian accent like this and you slow it down, you put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
Man,
it goes. Because literally, if you're down here and you start to speed it up, and then you start to take all the thing out of it, then before you know it, you're talking like this.
Never understand what possesses Africans, let alone Nigerians, to keep coming up with these egregious takes. Let's just get into the facts of it all, because we really need to start breaking down I like to call the delusion of the nation state identities. Because it is a delusion. Your identities are 100% manufactured by white supremacy. Let's get into the facts. First of all, when the slave trade started, the concept of Nigeria was non-existent. The phrase Nigeria, the word Nigeria, was coined in 1897 by a British colonialist. 1897. That is almost what? 300 years after the start of the slave trade? Baby, you didn't exist. There was no Nigerian accent because there was no Nigeria. The concept of Africa did not even exist yet. There was no Africa. They did not know how large the continent of Africa was. They didn't call it Africa. So the word Africa didn't even exist, let alone the concept of Nigeria. So this ideology, Black American accents in the South originated from Nigeria, is super fucking delusional. Not rooted in reality. It's only rooted in elitism because you think that your culture is superior. Also, you think that African Americans owe you something. We don't owe y'all shit. And this is why Black people do not resonate with the term African American, because Africa, the literal word Africa, did not exist, was not a concept when the slave trade started. It just did not exist. Let's get into some more facts since y'all think y'all know it all and got your fucking degree in fucking stupidity and shit. Only 3 to 5% of slaves, the United States of America, came from the region of Benin. 3 to 5%. Mind you, let's do numbers. These are facts that you can look up. In the United States of America, the United States of America, not the continent of America, the United States of America, only 500,000 slaves came to the States. Vast majority of African slaves went to Brazil. Brazil. Why do you think that they worship the goddess Yemaye over there? Because they actually know of her, right? We don't know of her over here. I know of her. Most Black Americans do not know of the goddess Yemaye. Why? Because the vast majority of Black people in America are not from Yoruba land. They weren't from Yoruba land. They weren't Ife. They weren't Yoruba. They're not Nigerian. And Nigeria didn't exist. 15 to 25,000 people of the slaves came from the region of Benin to the United States of America. Nigerians, y'all act a lot like white people. And this is coming from another Nigerian. I'm half Nigerian, and let me tell you, that side of my family is completely bonkers. Entitled, y'all are not better than Black Americans. The entire concept of Africa was created by white people. Every nation state on that entire continent was shaped and rearranged by white supremacy. The flags, the regions, the areas, the ethnicities that were forced to get along and create a nation. All of it was created by white people. This entitlement that y'all have, this sense of superiority that you think that you have because you have a nation state, was entirely fabricated by white supremacy. You are not special. You are not special. You are upholding nothing. Bullshit. And then they didn't even give you any real power, and they're still reaping and pillaging your fucking continent. You have done nothing spectacular. Quite literally fucking nothing. This is why I say y'all need to stop worrying about Black Americans so much. You haven't accomplished anything yet. Honestly, really none of us have. Really. The fact that y'all think that y'all are better than us for some reason, it just will never make sense to me. It will never fucking make sense to me. It's a fucking delusion. All of your identities were created by white people. Your cultures, clothing, sure, that's all you. But the concept of a flag, the concept of the region, all created by white supremacy. You are not special. Please, please, when y'all talking about black Americans, make sure you know your motherfucking history. No, your history, right? Because the fact that you didn't know that Nigeria wasn't a motherfucking place and Africa wasn't a motherfucking place when black people came to this goddamn land, maybe most of us was already here. Let's get it fucking straight. Y'all are delusional. Y'all are delusional.
If you take the Nigerian accent like this and you slow it down, you put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
Man,
It goes. Because literally, if you're down here and you start to speed it up, and then you start to take all the thing out of it, then before you know it, you're talking like this.
now we are free again.
Now we are free. We are released. Slow it down. Slavery, subservience.
Piece for characterizing the black Southern accent as slow, a lot of slavery and subservient. David Oyelowo issued this statement of apology, unreservedly acknowledging that he was wrong and that he would try to do better in the future. And that's cool, except one thing. And I know you're going to think that I'm being nitpicky here, even petty, but hear me out. He did acknowledge that he was wrong, but at no point did he acknowledge that he was also incorrect. And I know some of you will say, well, that's just semantics, son, but semantics actually matter. You see, wrong and incorrect may share qualities and they are often used interchangeably, but they are not the same. Wrong is more subjective. It's more of an abstract, a matter of perspective, opinion. It can be applied to facts, but it's not coming from a place of being objectively or demonstrably inaccurate. Whereas incorrect is a concept that's rooted in facts. That is something that can be demonstrably proven. It's not a question of perspective or opinion. As a sociolinguist and someone who actually studies the languages, it's not just that subservience was a factor in slavery. So therefore, subservience must have influenced the descendants of slavery's accent. The end. No, that's not how the development of accents works. There are factors including geography, contact, social structure, privileges, heritage languages, a number of things that goes into the collective formulation of an accent. We also utilize very strategic and sophisticated means of navigating the labyrinth of white supremacy. We created code speak. We created secret cants, secret languages. I've been present many a times when black old heads have said some things that were quite disrespectful right to the white man's face, and they were none the wiser, because they were speaking in a specific code that I will not be divulging in this video. But I digress. What David Oyelowo did was flatten out all of those years of language development, all of those years of strategy and sophistication and intelligence, and reduced it down to subservience and slavery. Our language continued to evolve long beyond the era of slavery. So to reduce it to being simply subservient is not only wrong, it is objectively incorrect. If you just speed up your black Southern accent, add a lot of colonialism and a little bit of scamming, you'll get the Nigerian accent. Of course that's wrong and rightly offensive, but based on your logic, it's not incorrect. All those years of wooing decrepit old fat European white women didn't influence y'all accent? No scamming, no fraud didn't influence the way y'all talk? Of course not. And that is precisely the point. David was not only wrong, he was incorrect. David was not the only one who was both wrong and incorrect.
I don't care how you speak your English, you still, that's not our native language.
They were designed that way, that kind of attitude. What are you gonna tell a dude from Mississippi? Well, man, you ain't black. I'm like, what are you gonna tell him? You wanna fight you?
We out here.
Can't stand fake ass people. And Godfrey is showing himself to be a fake person. Shit is annoying, but I'm not surprised because this is how Nigerians do. It's not surprising for a Nigerian. Keep it real. I don't like the fake shit because when he's around black Americans, this is the shit he's on.
King, Medgar Over Evers, James Baldwin, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. I don't play games like that. I said the reason why, and remember, I'm not foundational black American.
Notice how he knows exactly what a foundational black American is. And notice when he's around FBAs, the tone is very respectful. But look how he gets when he's around his own people. Now, when he's around this goofy t'other and this other one, I want y'all to peep what he said. Now, listen to this goofy t'other talk, then they're going to go to Godfrey.
diaspora embracing notion that you guys are talking about, as opposed to me now beginning to internalize some kind of ridiculous, what is it, what they call ADOS or whatever.
That's like my foundational black.
Now is that foundational black? I'm gonna play it again.
It proliferates. What is opposed to me now beginning to internalize some kind of ridiculous, what is it, what they call ADOS or whatever.
That's like my foundational black.
Now it's that foundational black. But notice in the previous video, he knew exactly who we were, and the tone was very respectful. But now he's in a room full of his people, and he starts to show his true colors. I like when they do this shit. Because then, now I know not to fuck with you. Garfie's a clown. There's some goofy ass shit. And now I know how he really feel about us. Crazy shit, but I'm not fucking surprised. When people show you who they are, believe them.
I already shared with y'all earlier this year that I have transcended the opinions of others on my ethnic community when I could say a million bad things about yours in return. I think everybody should mind their business and clean their own motherfucking house. Don't you think? Amen. But David Okuno specifically. Okay? Oh, dick sucker specifically. I've been wishing bad on that man, everybody in association with him, and everybody that comes after him in his lineage ever since he literally did blackface on a Hispanic woman and besmirchment to one of the most important women to dark-skinned black women that has ever lived, Miss Nina Simone. I have been wishing bad on Zoe Saldana. I said, for every dollar she makes, please impress upon her a minuscule amount of insanity. I want her to lose all her marbles before she leave this earth. And if you ever see this Zoe Saldana, if you've been feeling a little crazy lately, it's me. I'm the one doing it to you. The disrespect of what Nina Simone went through, period. The colorism, the misogynoir that she experienced. The doors she broke down that laid the groundwork for women like me who look like me to even sit in front of you and tell you how bad I wish upon your life. And you gonna do blackface when in your community, my community, on the continent, in the Caribbean, we can find 5 million women within the first 30 minutes that look just like Nina Simone. Y'all think I give a fuck about that interview and what that man is talking about? Baby, I'm trying to make bloodline type of changes. Do you understand me? The disrespect will never be tolerated when it comes to my bloodline. I already told y'all. I have transcended the opinions of other people about my ethnic community because I can say a million bad things about yours. Let me not get on the Black Brits because we've been having a good, we've been less beefed out than usual. So let me not start it back up. And most of the continental cousins have been on the right side of this conversation, so I'm gonna leave it where it's at. But please know, everybody have skeletons in their closet. Thank ya.
Whoa, David O. So y'all just said to hell with calling a truce on the diaspora wars, huh? Slavery and subservience in a southern accent? Listen to this.
How about Southerner?
You know what happens to Southerners? You take the Nigerian accent like this, and you slow it down. You put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
So you mean to tell me your preparation for playing the esteemed civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. in the film Selma, that you approached that method acting with slavery and subservience in mind? This is from the same man who produced Nina Simone, you know, the film that starred Zoe Saldana, our prosthetic nose, and Mac Studio Mac Foundation in the shade NW65. It should be noted that Southern dialects vary by region. We don't all speak the same. Somebody from Atlanta won't sound like somebody from Memphis, Alabama, New Orleans. It's reductive. It ignores the complexity, resilience, cultural influence, and regional diversity of Black Southern communities. And also, it's effing wrong. Let me know what you guys think.
A large number of Godfrey fans are really upset at him, and they're turning on him after this recent interview with a Nigerian actor called David Oyelowo. In this episode, they discussed the sport wars currently going on social media. Now, the actor is Nigerian, born in Nigeria, grew up in the UK. However, he was afforded the luxury to play roles like MLK and other roles that Black Americans felt like belonged to Black American actors. So the clips of them discussing him playing MLK and the backlash he received for playing Black American roles went viral on social media. And when it went viral, essentially what they said triggered a lot of Black Americans, and it caused an uproar. And a lot of Godfrey fans are pissed off at him for this conversation.
Way, way, way better and way, way, way more powerful together than we are apart. Yes. And I truly think so much of that mindset is born out of insecurity. You never see them coming after a Brit playing that kind of role when it's a failure. It's only when it's a success. If there's box office and if there's awards, then is the time where you go, I want a piece of that. Well, let's collaborate. So that's why I get everyone to the house. Where we have those conversations. Andre Holland, brilliant actor, trained. Coleman Domingo, brilliant. I've seen that dude on stage. The success he's being afforded is absolutely warranted. It's the work.
Here's the problem that I identified. Because Tariq Nasheed and his crew are a loud minority, that whenever a non-Black American gets fair critique from Black Americans, they automatically identify that critique with Tariq Nasheed and his crew, so they dismiss the critique, even though it's a fair critique. And I don't think that's fair, because I don't think the majority of Black Americans identify with Tariq Nasheed and his philosophy. I don't think the majority of Black Americans believe if you are a baby and you're born in Africa, you're born musty. I don't think that like that's not a sentiment from the Black Americans I speak to. The Black Americans I speak to will hear some nonsense like that and they will get pissed off and they will get upset because that's bigotry at its finest, right? But when they get fair critique, they automatically identify that critique with Tariq Nasheed, so then they dismiss it.
And I was looking for community. And to be perfectly honest, I met a lot of African-American actors who, as I started to gain a bit of success, I could tell they felt threatened by my presence, by what I was being afforded that they felt they should be being afforded.
Oh man.
And I was terrified because I had just now been afforded the opportunity to play Oprah Winfrey and Forrest Whitaker's son in The Butler. It was a very juicy role. And I stood there, Cuba Gooding's over there, Terrence Howard's over there, like all these actors. And I was just like, oh boy, am I gonna be okay?
Y'all see what I mean though? He dismissed any and all critique as jealousy. Now, I do believe things like MLK, Malcolm X, Farrakhan, like a Ghanaian playing Farrakhan is crazy. It's Farrakhan. But if we're talking about the general role, any American-speaking English roles, if we're saying that a Nigerian, a Ghanaian, a Caribbean, a Black guy from the UK, if we're saying that they are not even allowed to ever be in Hollywood or to ever exist, now that's wrong. But there should be room to have this discussion. Hey, we allow y'all to eat, y'all doing y'all thing, but let's not start poaching movie roles like Farrakhan, Malcolm X, MLK, things that are sacred to our culture. Let's not do that.
David Oyelowo's most recent comments are why I stand by my thought that Black British people really, like, y'all, we need to send books over there. We have to send books over there. How can you look at an entire group of people, of which, by the way, the art form that you are participating in, you are a guest though, because they're allowing you to, they're allowing you to play a character that is reflective of their own experiences. So granted, when I'm saying they're allowing you, obviously there's a network or a studio that has greenlit the movie, but they're allowing you as a guest, as per you're a Black man, to come in and do your artistic work. And you looked at the artistic work, and what you had to take away was they have an accent that is born of subservience. Are you mad? Are you like, even if that was what you were trying to say, what the Black Southern American accent is actually is a story of things that people have had to endure and overcome and have created a really beautiful like life and culture out of. People that they were trying to exterminate have still created something that people all over the fucking world want to take part in and be part of. I don't fucking understand it, and I'm not taking it very lightly. What, are you mad? You think our own accent is not born of subservience? Please, when you issue an apology, and I know you will, get on video for this one. Do not do notes app apology. Do not send it through your fucking PR team. I'm begging you. Then when you are doing it, secondly, get a lineup. I'm tired of the Black British actors. Get the fucking lineup. Two, if you would do your own research, you will understand that the conversation that was born out of Drewski's skit is not a conversation that Drewski came up with. It's a conversation that Robert Townsend had that shit in Hollywood Shuffle. It's a conversation that Black Americans have had over time. It's okay that they feel uncomfortable. But you as a Black man, depending on how you align, if you aligned with other Black people, you would understand why they feel the way that they do. You think our own accent is not born of subservience? So I can't even say the word. See, it doesn't even vibe well in my fucking mouth because I'm not. And there's no way that I can look at a Black American person and feel that their culture, their accent, and I'm saying their culture because the accent is just a reflection of their culture, that their culture is anything born of fucking subservience. Like, no. Like, are you bloody? The fact that I'm even saying bloody, who do you think put it there? Is it not British people? Bros, I beg. In your life, no say nothing like that again. In your life, go to Howard University, make them teach you something. Don't say that kind of thing again, bros. Bros, I beg. No say that kind of thing again. You say if you take a Nigerian accent and then you add subservience to it, are you fucking mad? You thought that was okay on an international? Come on. And then you'll be like, oh, people are too sensitive. Are people sensitive or are you mad?
What is this diaspora embracing notion that you guys are talking about, as opposed to me now beginning to internalize some kind of ridiculous, what do they call ADOS or whatever?
That's like my traditional Black.
But it proliferates.
Yeah, it does.
It proliferates. You look at what is happening with nationalism, you know, the rise of the Reform Party in the UK. You look at why we have some of the political circumstances we have here in America. It starts like this. It starts with people feeling empowered and gathering around negativity that gives them some kind of identity.
And the biggest threat to that, or the biggest fuel to that right now, is the algorithm.
Anytime we decide, hey, this is who we are, right? All of a sudden, if we say, hey, we're not Caribbean, we're not Nigerian, we're ADOS, all of a sudden we are divided around negativity, and somehow the algorithm is boosting us. I have been suppressed by the algorithm for a very long time. Unless I say something about a celebrity or something, most of the time my tweet does not move. I am not boosted. We are not boosted by the algorithm. We are oppressed and suppressed by the algorithm, and there's nothing negative about what we're doing. Now, I want to get to something else. Inside of that interview, he said something else stupid. See, this is how I know you're not just the best at what you do and all of that stuff, and you're the creme de la creme, because this is the stupidest analysis I've ever heard. Saying we are American descendants of slavery and we are not you and you are not us. It doesn't make anybody better or worse, but we built this country. You haven't built anything. You ran away. You've been hunting. You've been shopping for a country your whole life. David Oyelowo, whatever, pronounce his name for me. You have been shopping for a country. See, we don't shop for countries. We say, hey, if this country is not right, this country, America, is not treating us right, we are going to fight and fight and fight, even if the fight never ends. You ran away from Nigeria, then you went to the UK, and you called yourself a Black Brit, even though ADOS has more British in our blood than you will ever have in yours. We are the actual ADOS Brits. If there's a Black Brit, it's us because of all the UK blood we have, and nobody's bragging about it. It's just a fact. You are a dislocated African who has always been running. And we didn't say anything about you. We said, hey, we are a distinct group, and all of a sudden that is divisive, and you see what's happening in the UK, and you see no. Saying that we are American does not mean we are united around xenophobia. And you never stop to ask. You never stop to say, hey, what's going on here? Because obviously I don't understand. Did y'all see what he went on? I'm just going to play that part about the interview. But did y'all see where he went on elsewhere and talked about our...
If you take the Nigerian accent like this and you slow it down, you put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
Man.
It goes because literally, if you're down here and you start to speed it up, and then you start to take all the thing out of it, then before you know it, you're talking like this.
Now we are free again.
Now we are free. We are in.
Talked about the Southern accent and said it derives from like a Nigerian accent, and you slow it down and you add a little slavery and you add a little oppression and you have a Southern accent. See, this is the problem with Mama Africa and all this Mama Africa stupidity. If you let people, and if you keep putting people ahead of you and above you, because if you think, and people say, well, Africa's the cradle of civilization, fine, but ain't nobody else around, people around the world don't go around calling Mama Africa. Everybody understands that. The problem with that, if you call somebody your mama, they gonna think that you their child. That's natural. If you call, hey, that's Mama Africa, that's the motherland, then they're gonna treat you like their children, when really and truthfully, we are the mama. You come here to live. You come here to work. You come here to have a better life because of what we built. We are Mama Ados and you are our children. And that's, ain't it something? It's a shame how it happened to you, ain't it? It's a shame. I understand it's a shame that the people you sold away into slavery somehow have more and built a path for you to come in here. But because you always view us as a degraded part of you, because slavery in your mind never goes away. See, that's what people don't understand. In other parts of the world where slavery exists, once a slave, always a slave. So you can consider our accent a degraded version of a Nigerian accent when really that's not what's happening at all. But that just goes to show who you are. That goes to show how you feel. And non-human media had a very good comment. Besides being very offensive, this is also very stupid. He is stupid. That was clear to me in the interview. Stop telling me these people are special. Listen, people confuse intelligence. People will hear that British accent and think that means intelligence. There's a fetish for it. Oh, I love the accent. It's so Cynthia Erivo. It's so, and it's just like, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that person's a cut above anybody else. That person's more intellectual, more intelligent. But he said the Nigerian accent he's describing is a Nigerian English accent. Black Americans were speaking their particular dialect of English before most Nigerians ever heard of the language. So this point makes zero sense. Yes. Yes. It's just true. But there is this thing that because we were slaves and because they sold us over here, it's always, it's a psychological thing. You have to be a degraded version of me. Because there is no version of you that could be better than me because you come from a slave and you come from slaves that we sold. So in your mind, you can't even imagine that, man, did God do this? Turn that stuff around to where they have more than us after we sold them to show them how horrible. A lot of stuff's possible, but you hate it. You hate it. You just hate the fact that we are not a degraded and a worse version of you. You hate the fact that we fight more than you. You hate the fact that we understand what liberations mean. You hate that we'll fight and we'll give our lives in a way that you won't. We will give our lives in a country that is majority white. You won't even do that in a country that is majority you.
I'm not surprised by what David Oyelowo said, and I'm not surprised at Godfrey's reaction to what David Oyelowo said, because David Oyelowo was definitely upset. He was upset by Drewski's skit in which he makes fun of European black folk who move through Hollywood by taking on black American roles and all of the stuff that surrounds that. I think that David Oyelowo felt targeted because he's been in Hollywood for quite some time and he's also taken some black American roles. So he felt like he was being insulted, so he had to punch down. Black Americans versus European black folk are different because black Americans are black first. European black folk are European first. So this person thinks himself as a superior to black Americans and he needs to punch down. So that's why he makes that whole statement about how when he's trying to move into that quote unquote slave accent, he adds, he takes Nigerian and he adds whips and chains and he adds subservience, and then it makes the black American like accent. And it's really disrespectful for a myriad of reasons that I don't need to explain to you. It's very obvious. It's also funny because dialectically, I think that David Oyelowo is actually really bad at American accents, especially as it relates to black Americans, because he doesn't truly understand it. And when you don't respect something, you're not going to really care to understand it. So it's all just coming full circle. Godfrey egging it on and yucking it up doesn't surprise me because Godfrey isn't black American. So this kind of disrespect will not be something that directly affects him. He's Nigerian. They're both Nigerian, actually. And it's not to say Nigerian people are bad people. It's to say that this is a specific instance in which it didn't seem like there was a black American in the room. If there was, if that third person that was there was black American, he's a very soft individual. He has a very weak spine, because the idea of someone being that disrespectful to our people and then you just sit there and you laugh and you joke and you egg him on to do a Los Angeles black American accent, like, all right. which is also very ignorant because depending on where part of Los Angeles you're from, that's going to change drastically. Someone who's from Compton is not going to sound like someone from Long Beach, and they're not going to sound like someone from South LA. Like it's just a very, very nuanced thing that you would not really know. But why would I expect people who aren't of the culture to know?
You promise you go with me now.
Rudy, stop talking like that. You ain't going to no big city. Mass ain't gonna let you.
Yeah, I'm going with or without you.
Rudy, stop talking like that. Stop. Hey, what are you niggers doing over there? We gotta get out of here. Hey, what are you doing? Run!
And cut! Fantastic. I need more American slave. Okay?
Like struggle.
Yeah, the struggle.
Like sort of like the dialogue, like the back and forth banner.
Absolutely, yes.
See, this role was sort of a bit cheeky. I got a little bit out of my comfort zone, you know. During the filming of this role and this character, I felt oppressed, like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art.
A fantastic turnout on the red carpet tonight. I'm just arriving. We have Samson Dubois at the American Guild Awards.
Samson, you look great tonight.
How hard was it for you to change your accent?
As a little boy from Manchester, I think, I struggled a bit with the dialect, right? But to really get into character for this quite astonishing role that I took on, to say the least, I put it all on the line.
All right, 3, 2, 1, action.
I'm telling you, nigga, if you fuck with my shit, I'll kill you, nigga. You'll be fucked up. Fuck.
Nigga, we family.
Nigga, ain't no fucking family in this shit. We not family, nigga. Fuck family.
Hey, cut, that's the one.
That was stunning. That was stunning.
Great performance, brother. Great performance.
Working with a good London boy, and I bother him all the time. I had a call with the director. It was quite quintessential to the role, and great character development behind it.
I put this fucking bullet in your head, nigga.
I laugh because I'm penniless and a bit quite surreal.
Samson Dubois. Samson, yo, who's the girl? Who's the girl?
What's your next movie?
What's your next movie? Yo, do you think your British accent gets you all the black roles in America?
Come on, bro. Are you serious, bro?
Do you think you're better than them?
Better than who, bro? Black people.
Yeah.
Stop.
In New Orleans, they celebrated Jollof over jambalaya. They cast Africans to play Harriet Tubman and MLK. But when a foundational Black American cast was announced for Children of Blood and Bone, a fantasy rooted in Nigerian culture, African Twitter exploded with outrage. So it's okay when they play our ancestors, but we can't even play their imaginary ones? They call our food slave food. But ignore that soul food was born out of survival, creativity, and ethnogenesis. Indigenous, then African, then European. The seasoning, the preservation techniques, the staples, all reflect our reality as a people formed on United States soil. French, Choctaw, Gullah, Southern. This is a cuisine that came from us, in a world no one else endured. It's not a remix of West Africa. It's the birth of something entirely new. They copy our slang, our drip, our dances, then turn around and call us culturalists. This is what destiny swapping looks like. At Essence Fest this year, the new CEO, an African woman, hosted a Jollof versus Jambalaya cook-off in New Orleans, in the South, a city where Black American food is sacred. Attendance was low. The backlash was loud because people felt it. Something's off. The new CEO of Red Lobster? Nigerian. The headline? Black excellence. But let's be real, when they say Black now, they don't always mean Black Americans from the United States. And one of the newest dishes added to the menu? A seafood boil. Straight from the traditions of the Gulf Coast, from our backyard tables, our family reunions, our culture, now rebranded and served back to us. And when they choose who gets to represent us, they don't choose based on lineage. They choose based on proximity to whiteness or global appeal. Anyone dark enough to pass for the brand. Remember Barack Obama? Looked the part, spoke the language, but he was Kenyan and white. Not a freedman, not a descendant of United States slavery, not foundational. But he got to be the face of our experience to the world, a whole US president. And in contrast, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, married into the British royal family, foundational through her mother, born in Los Angeles, California. A Black American woman with real United States lineage, yet somehow still reduced to biracial. Still not allowed to speak for us, still treated like she doesn't belong, even though she has more lived Black American experience than Barack ever did. And when it comes to our heroes, they gave Harriet Tubman to Cynthia Erivo, MLK to David Oyelowo, Solomon Northup to Chiwetel Ejiofor, all African or British African. But let a foundational Black American from the US touch an African-inspired fantasy, and suddenly it's cultural theft. So who's really allowed to tell whose story? They gatekeep their language, they gatekeep their tribes, they gatekeep who can even call themselves African. But in the United States, we're told to open the door for everyone who's Black, even if they came yesterday, even if they call us lazy, cultureless, or lost. We built this culture over 400 years. Some of us were never enslaved. Many of us were freedmen before the Civil War. And most of us, we are the result of true American ethnogenesis, indigenous, African, and European. A lineage forged under fire, not copied from another land. Our music becomes urban. Our dialect becomes TikTok audio. Our struggle becomes a pipeline for global DEI hires. And the numbers don't lie. Out of 48 million Black people in the US, only about 4.8 million are immigrants. But somehow they're running our boards, curating our festivals, leading our narratives. We're not mad at the success. We're calling out the substitution. Because this isn't unity, this is erasure.
Shout out to the Africans for finally admitting the quiet part out loud. So much for African Americans not having any culture. Y'all know exactly who to dress like and who to talk like and who y'all want to be like. One thing for sure, nigga, you ain't never gonna hear a Black person being like, my biggest flex is that I'm African American, but I look African. Cause I guarantee you, boy, we can tell y'all all African, gang. Don't nobody think that. I don't know who told y'all that. Lame ass niggas, bro. And y'all be swearing that we the most divisive motherfuckers, but y'all be the ones criticizing us, but then cosplay as us.
What is a tether? A tether is somebody who can't stand on their own 2 feet, so they clip themselves to FBA and hope nobody notices. They eat off our plate, wear our skin, tell our stories, cash our checks, then act like we're the guests. That's a tether. Take Cynthia Erivo, the same woman who mocked us with a fake ghetto accent, who said we were jealous of Africans. Now suddenly she's supposed to play Chaka Khan? Chaka herself had to step in and say no, that the only person worthy of that role is her daughter. Imagine the nerve. That's like me trying to play Fella in a Nollywood film, or Bob Marley in a Kingston biopic. Y'all wouldn't let that happen for a second. But when it's our legends, suddenly they think we're optional. Cynthia can't even sing Chaka's runs without sounding like she swallowed a kazoo, but they want her to tether to Chaka's crown? Please. And while she's busy practicing her I'm every woman in the mirror, Chicago's own mayor is cutting checks with our names on them and handing them to everybody else. Brandon Johnson stood on FBA neighborhoods to get that seat. Then the first move he makes, $70 million for migrants, Latinos, and African diaspora groups, while our kids are still dodging rats in crumbling schools. You want to be the mayor of Chicago, but your first budget looks like a GoFundMe for everybody but us? That's tether politics. Selling out the very people who gave you power. And Essence Fest, don't even get me started. Once upon a time, that was our sanctuary. A festival where the world came to see what we created. Now it's a Jolliffe versus Jambalaya contest like Jambalaya ever needed validation. We've been cooking that since the soil was wet with our ancestors' sweat. Jolliffe is fine where it belongs, but stop trying to act like it belongs here on the main stage. And steering the whole ship? Caroline Wenga, Kenyan-born CEO. Essence is supposed to be a mirror for us, not a masquerade ball for everybody else. That's tether energy, using our house as a costume party. But tethers don't stop there. Trump rolled out the red carpet this year for white South African farmers, the Afrikaners. The same people who enforced apartheid yesterday are suddenly victims today. They hop on a plane, land in America, and just like that, they're refugees. Fast-tracked for asylum, while Black folks still get told, sorry, quota's full. That's not survival, that's manipulation. That's tethering privilege to our pain, hoping nobody looks too closely at who was holding the whip just a generation ago. And let's be real, tether behavior always leaks out in the little things. A goosey soup, fufu, cassava leaves, cool, but don't bring that to Monday table like it's supposed to replace cornbread and greens. We're not over here pounding starch in plastic bowls with our bare hands. And oxtails? We turned scraps into soul, stretched them into Sunday feasts. Now the price is so high you need Klarna just to make stew, all because outsiders discovered what we've been new. That's tether math, late to the recipe, but quick to raise the bill. And why is it every tether pulls up in flip-flops? Like, bro, we survived sundown towns, and y'all show up to represent blackness looking like you just stepped out of a gas station bathroom. But here's the part they don't want to admit. Cynthia clips herself to Chaka, Brandon clips our money to migrants, Caroline clips our culture to Jollof. Afrikaners clip their privilege to our pain. Different faces, same hustle. Without FBA, there is no rhythm, no food, no culture, no future to tether to. So let me ask, if Africans really built America, why do they need our roles, our food, our platforms, our votes? If Afrikaners are refugees, why were they running apartheid yesterday? And if tethers have their own rhythm, why is the whole world still moving to ours? It's Labor Day, and maybe it's time the host stops feeding the guests. Because a tether can only survive if the host allows it. And FBA, we are the host. You are, at best, 1 or 2 generations removed from somebody who flew over here on a visa, a lottery slot, refugee status, maybe even overstayed paperwork, and now you're talking to the people whose great-great-grandparents and beyond were already here building the category like you the reference point? Oh, so we just skipping steps now. Look at this image. People on the outside, people in the mirror, everybody pointing, confused. This is the introduction to a series. We're about to break down identity, nationality, and destiny swapping through sociology, history, and what's happening right now. Because this confusion, it's not theoretical, it's current. Let's ground this fast. Every society on Earth understands one rule. You can enter a nation, you cannot rewrite its foundation on arrival. That's structure. And immigration? Not new. Europeans did it first. Irish, Italians. They weren't considered white at first. Historians like Noel Ignatieff document how they were excluded from the WASP structure. But they didn't show up and redefine the system overnight. They assimilated over generations. Names changed positions, shifted alignment with power, happened over time. That took generations, not one plane ride. Now fast forward, because today we're seeing something different. Identity negotiation in real time. You've got situations like in Houston, a Mexican-American police officer fired after being recorded using anti-Black slurs, reported by ABC 13. That's not just behavior, that's positioning. Being inside a system while still disrespecting the group that defines part of it. Now policy. The Supreme Court case, Students for Fair Admissions v. Harvard, was driven largely by Asian American plaintiffs, covered by the New York Times and others. That decision removed race-conscious admissions. But affirmative action? That came out of the civil rights movement, built on Black American struggle. So now you've got groups, including other people of color, entering a system, benefiting from it, and then helping remove parts of it that were built through someone else's fight. That's not emotion, that's sequence. Now go global, South Africa. Documented by BBC, Reuters, Al Jazeera, there are ongoing xenophobic tensions where South Africans target other African nationals. Let that sit. People who are geographically closer, culturally closer, phenotypically similar are still saying you are not from here. They enforce national identity, clearly. But when it comes to Black Americans, suddenly we're all the same. Come home. Come home to what? A place where even within the continent, people distinguish between origin, nationality, and belonging? But when we do it, it's a problem? And notice, Black Americans are not out here organizing mass expulsions. There's no widespread xenophobic campaign coming from us. So other groups enforce boundaries, and we're expected to erase ours. Now bring it back here, because this is still happening domestically. There have been multiple reports, especially out of New York, from outlets like CBS New York and local investigative coverage about fraud rings using falsified documents to access housing and public resources. That impacts everybody. But it hits hardest in communities already at the bottom, including Black Americans, who historically fought for access to those same resources. So now you've got historical struggle, plus modern competition, plus policy rollback, all happening at once. And here's what people miss. This didn't end in the 1960s. The 13th Amendment still allows forced labor as punishment for crime. The prison system, documented by outlets like the Marshall Project, shows how that became part of a larger prison labor structure. Cheap labor didn't disappear, it evolved. Then you've got healthcare disparities. CDC data shows Black women have the highest rates of maternal unalivings in the US. That's not history, that's now. So when we say identity, we are not talking about something symbolic. We are talking about something that is historical, structural, and still active. Now bring it back to sociology. Alejandro Portes, segmented assimilation theory, says groups don't all integrate the same. Some assimilate, some stay separate, and some compete within the same category. That's what you're seeing in this image. Multiple groups, one label, different histories. In America, Black is not just a color. It is a historical category built through slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights, and still evolving today. So when people immigrate here, you are not stepping into something empty. You are stepping into something with meaning, cost, and consequences. Now, psychology, social identity theory, people seek belonging. That's human. I'll say it clearly. If I move somewhere new, I'd want connection too. But there's a difference between I'm here and I'm different, and I'm here and I'm redefining this group. That second move, that's where tension starts. Because now, two people say I'm Black, but one means history and the other means entry point. Same word, different reality. Now zoom out. Globally, everybody distinguishes identity. Jewish lineage versus converts, Asian national versus diaspora identity, Irish versus Irish American. Nobody debates that. But when it comes to Black Americans, suddenly we're all the same. Why? Because collapsing that distinction makes access easier without acknowledging origin. Even Pew Research shows differences between Black immigrants and US-born Black Americans in how they see identity, discrimination, and opportunity. Different experiences, same label. So when policies come up, affirmative action, public assistance, voting protections, you get different groups advocating from different positions under one category. And sometimes those positions conflict. Then when things shift, when protections are removed, now we need unity. But unity without clarity is just confusion. So this series, starting right here, is about breaking that down. Past, present, future. Because at the end of the day, a nation is not who shows up. It's who built what you showed up to. Arrival is not authorship. Participation is not origin. And until we separate race, lineage, nationality, this mirror will stay confused. Because everybody is talking, but not everybody is speaking from the same foundation.